Forever changed the way the U.S. military stores weapons. His company, Securing, is turning the gun-safe industry upside down. Now Tom is on a mission to find other innovators, risk-takers, disruptors, and groundbreakers who are driving change and moving our industry forward. This is Agents of Change.
If you're a deer hunter, odds are you have trail cameras in the woods. Some of these can even send photos right to your phone. Well, today we're going to meet Harold Monk, an avid hunter and software engineer that has turned the basic trail cam into a complete data acquisition system. But first, we caught up with former NFL lineman and big game hunter Brandon Bear, who has completely reinvented the hunting backpack. The ROKMAN pack is stackable, adaptable, and it flexes and moves with you. And it's 100% waterproof. Brandon, it's really great to meet you. I looked at the product online and just did a quick read of it, and I'm just dying to learn more. It's fascinating what you've done.
Absolutely. You know, ROKMAN, it's a pack company that we feel like we've solved a bunch of needs in the market, right? Yeah. First of all, we were out hunting, we're the end user, and we realized that there's no true waterproof pack system out there to be hunting, fishing, hiking with. So we're like, we really need that, okay? The other thing is we wanted a system that worked for whatever kind of a hunt or hike or adventure that we were getting ready to go on, something that we could build, adapt, and modify for what we needed, and right? So we created this modular, this changeable system with our packs, and everything adds on to this system. So you start off with one basic setup and you kind of build what you need, right?
Well, let's go through it then.
You want to go through it then? Okay, yeah. First we'll start off with this right here, okay? So this is our pack frame. I undo 4 buckles, 1, 2, and then I have the one here at the bottom. I got this one down here at the bottom, right? I pulled this pin out and I can take my shoulder straps off of any product that I have. This is the center of everything. This is the core flex. Right. This is the piece that makes our whole system function and work together. It's all, as you can see, carbon fiber.
Right.
So we wanted something that would flex with you as you move, right? It's a core flex. It bends, it moves with you. So you can move this. The other cool part is not all of our torsos are created equal, right? We're all just a little bit different in size and structure. So I can just simply loosen that up, and now I can take this and I can adjust it to fit.
So I'm not buying a pack for my wife and a pack for me.
Yeah, in essence, you could actually adjust it to fit your wife or fit yourself and make it work.
So the modular system, you've got the frame here, that's for heavy loads, but you also use this with some of your packs just as it is.
Yes, so this connects to the pack frame, it connects to the individual packs, and the cool part is they all can work together. So we'll just go through a scenario, okay? We're gonna go on a day hunt, okay? So I'm gonna grab my smallest pack right here. This is my 2,500 cubic inch pack, okay? This pack right here, I'll show you a few features on it and what we kind of pride ourselves in. Okay, every one of our packs has a waterproof zipper in the front of it, okay? It's not water resistant, it's waterproof, and then you can access top to bottom of your pack. You could even hop on it and paddle across the river. It will hold air in there and float. The real, I guess, feature behind all the waterproof is our water lock technology, okay? So what we have done is we have taken this product and we have coated any kind of fabric that we decided to use, which is the fabric we used here. We coated it with a TPU coating, but we didn't just coat it on one side. The ability to weld these seams and not have stitches is we've taken the inside of the product, and you'll notice it's got a little bit of a shine to it, right? Yep. It's got a thicker coating of waterproof fabric on the inside than the outside. So we get that flat look on the outside, but we're double coated inside and out. Which is
2 layers.
2 layers, and then we can now weld in things and not stitch things, which allows us to be waterproof. And that's our water lock technology right in here. Say you're gonna go on a day hunt, right? And you just grab your 2,500, your day pack, you grab your set of shoulder straps, and it's just a matter of seconds. I put the bottom hooks in, do that up, I grab this pin system, I drop it down in here through the top. I got this pin together, and these are crucial parts.
Right, that's what ties it to your upper body.
Yes, so this is already adjusted. This is custom fitted for me. I'm gonna go out on a multi-day hunt where I'm gonna set up a base camp up in the mountains.
Right.
This pack has got my hunting gear in it, and then I go grab my big pack, which is my cleverly named Base Camp 5000, right? It's the base camp. And in this pack, I've got all my gear, you know, all my stuff I need at camp, my clothes, my tent, my sleeping bag, the things I'm gonna keep at camp, but not that I'm gonna hunt with. Same set of shoulder straps that are custom fitted for me. Right, you guys get the system here and how it's all hooks together. So then you take this day pack, right, or this base camp, and this has got my gear for camp, and then I can just simply add my 2500, right? So we'll click this together. You see that system, and then you'll grab these straps here, and you'll click them up into here, and now I can go in, and I've got my day pack with my hunting gear on it and my base camp. So then we get to the exciting part as well. I mean, it's all exciting, but I take this set of shoulder straps and we start with the feature we originally start with, the pack frame, okay?
Right.
If you're gonna ever carry a heavy load, you wanna be able to carry the load with something sturdy,
Right,
a pack frame.
so you get the
will
load
carry it all.
properly dispersed.
Yes. Same set of shoulder straps. This is where people get confused. Same set of shoulder straps, same set of adjustable system. You take it here, you lock in your load straps, cinch it up here, and now I have the ability to carry a heavy load with the same set here.
The way that carbon fiber is, it just lays into your back and moves with you. It's,
Yeah, so the packs, they don't have an internal frame in them. Everything really sits with this set of shoulder straps, okay? So when you need something hard and heavy to carry, you use this. Another fun feature about this is that in the bottom of every one of our packs is this cool feature here, right? So I have this load strap. It goes up, hooks into all the buckles, and now I can stick the nose through one of these holes. It's actually a patented design to put the nose through one of the holes. It holds the head in place, and then I put the meat behind me here. So now I got the trophy on the outside, the meat close to my body, and I can make my first trip out of the mountains worth my time.
Let's set this up for me. I want to try this on.
You want to try that on? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So I just have you turn sideways,
Yep.
and all I do is I kind of say, this is about where your waist is at,
right here.
and your shoulders are coming here. So I would drop it down here to the second notch. So we'll set this up here, lock it into place, and we'll throw the pack frame on there. Yeah.
Put this on. That's great.
And then once we get a heavy load in here, this is kind of fun.
Right, that's actually, I want to feel how it flexes.
Step forward here, I'm gonna jump in it.
Oh yeah,
No,
great.
So when I'm putting pressure on here, feel it's pulling you backwards.
Yep.
Now reach up and grab these straps right here. There's one on each side.
Where's the other one?
There you go. Now make it comfortable.
Oh, there you go. It sucks right
See,
up.
it just pulls all that load right forward, and now
Yep.
you have an actual comfortable pack where you can pull around, carry quite a bit.
It twists and flex.
Yeah,
The
and
back. No, what's fascinating though is if you're moving over rugged terrain, the pack is absolutely, it's like part of me.
yeah,
It's not because like, I've got a decent backpack, but still there's that, you got this big rock on your back, or
Yeah.
this big load.
yeah,
Oh, that's really cool.
yep.
Brandon, thank you very much for coming out, bringing the packs. We've been walking for what, an hour and a half, and I forgot I had this thing on. Absolutely works.
Yeah, they're great. I can't wait to get you out to Idaho, hunting season. We're gonna really put them to the test.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be a great trip. And coming up next, a data acquisition system that will replace your game cameras. WiseEye Data Cam and software will allow you to use advanced analytics to predict the movement of your target buck. This is really incredible. So this is it, Harold.
This is the WiseEye camera. This is our mini camera that we have been selling for the last year. We've been very successful with it.
I read the specs last night on it. It's fascinating what you've been able to do.
It's been a lot of fun. We took a different angle to the camera. We actually decided that hunters are looking for data, not pictures only.
Right.
So we are a technology company that
Right.
decided to build a data camera that will allow the hunter to manage his deer herd.
You're building data that not just like, hey, here's a buck, but it's like when he moves, where he moves, why he moves. You're building a data set that allows you to kind of track your property, aren't you?
Yes, what we've tried to do, we know the biologists tell us there are 7 things that make whitetails move. The wind, the barometric pressure, the humidity, wind direction. So what we try to do is when we take a picture of that animal, we can grab that data and store it with the picture. Now we're starting to form data. If they come back the second time at the same temperature? Did he come back a third time at the same wind direction? So now we can chart him and really zero in on his movement so we can harvest that champion deer that you've been after.
And how to, like, if I'm a hunter and I've got camera set at my property, is this something I plug into a computer? What's my interaction?
Great. As soon as the camera takes a picture, we use a cell signal to send it to the cloud. And inside the cloud, we know all about your profile. And now that picture is placed in there. It's sorted. We know if it's a deer or it's a junk, coon. How many pictures do you get of coons every day? So we actually will throw those out and we'll show you your deer pictures. And then we can sort those pictures whether it was a doe or a buck. And then we will show you, here's the bucks that you saw today. Are any of these Frank or any of these George,
right?
You name it. And as you develop this profile for Frank and George, now we can track him. If we see him on this camera or we see him on a different camera, now we can know how he moves between cameras and all the information about why he moved.
So is it almost like facial recognition only for deer?
It's a little different from facial recognition. We couldn't get a deer, we tried it, but we couldn't get a deer to look at the camera every time the same way. So we had to go out and develop a new type of technology that looks at characteristics of a deer. Whether he is laying down, whether he's looking away, he's looking at the camera, he's 45 degrees away, we had to be able to determine that's a white-tailed deer. That was a challenge. It took us about 2 good years of research and development to figure out the technology to be able to use that to be able to identify the animals. And we can identify white-tailed deer, we do turkeys, we do humans, we do vehicles.
If you've got a lot of deer on the property, can you track a specific deer?
We can track a specific deer, but we need help from you though. Because deer change so much when they're growing horns. To a computer, a deer in October is not the same deer in November. Okay, so I need a little help from you. You know who Frank is, and you can say, okay, here's Frank in October, here's Frank in November, here's Frank in December.
Okay, so it's interactive. I'm seeing the pictures, and I'm saying, yep, there he is. Yep.
That's him.
And the software is building up that profile as well.
Completely. Whether you're on this camera, on another camera. So if we see Frank here today, and we see Frank later this afternoon down in the bottom down here, we can set up a profile that with the temperature that we have today, the wind direction we have today, we know Frank is comfortable traveling this corridor, and we don't have to worry about any other functions any other distractions from him, because this is where he's comfortable. Long as he's comfortable, we find out that deer are they're creatures of habit.
Quick, I know you always hear people saying, right when the front comes through, you want to be out, and everybody has their own opinion.
Great. What we found out this year in this camera, we have several thousand cameras across the United States. The data that was collected this year was very interesting, that we found out that deer in the northern part of the United States, when a front is moving through, and it's what we call a snow front, a heavy front, as it comes through, the deer seem to move right up to 2 hours before the barometric pressure bottomed out. So as the front's coming in, the deer are eating. Once the front moves through, the deer sit down. They didn't move for 12 to 14 hours. As the front moved south, it turned into a wet rain. And we found that the deer tend to lay down 12 hours before the rain got here.
Really?
And then I wish I'd have known that when I was growing up, because I got wet many times because my grandfather told me you need to hunt before the front got there. But I never was successful.
Right, so, I mean, you're talking generalizations. The idea though, I'm mounting these up on the ranch and I'll know the profile specifically of my deer and my weather patterns to build the patterns. Like if I've got, Big Bob, he's a 10-pointer, I'll be able to track him and understand when he's active.
This camera is telling you what your deer herd's doing, and that's what you're looking for.
Sponsored by Security, the leader in military weapon storage, armory design, and customizable gun safes you could store anywhere in your house.
Now I understand, and I don't know the science of these small cameras, but I know your camera is a much higher resolution camera than a standard trail cam, isn't it?
Yes, sir. So what we've put in these cameras are a much higher lens resolution. So the definition that you see in our pictures are quite different from the resolution you see
I
in
looked
the
at the
pictures.
Photographs and
Absolutely.
they look like photographs that I would have taken with a camera.
Then the modem in here is 4 times stronger than your cell phone. So
really?
Where you get any cell coverage, this camera works great, even in places where you do not get cell coverage.
So this takes a photograph, it sends the photo to you, to your phone, and but it's also sending additional information?
It actually sends the picture to the app, or what we call the cloud.
Okay.
Inside that cloud, it actually contacts NOAA and says, what is happening at this specific time at this specific tree? What is the temperature? Which way is the wind blowing? What's the moon doing? And that actually gets laid out in the same data, what we call a flatline data for that picture. And so as the camera takes picture, it is always pulling this information and laying out in a flat file. And then when you get ready to use our software called Predictive, I can say predict when that buck is coming back.
So I've got the camera here. I really like to take a look at the data.
Oh, great. Well, Megan's here. Let's walk over and take a look at the data.
All right. So Megan, you work on the software side of the company. Walk me through the interface. I really want to see how this works.
Okay, so yeah, of course. So here we have the folders that Harold was talking about.
Okay.
So we have the all category, deer, hog, turkey, people, vehicle, predator, and other.
Okay.
So if you just want to see what's the most recent things that are happening at all your cameras, all is where you start.
Okay.
If you just want to see the deer, so you just touch the deer folder, and here's all your deer
does it
pictures.
scroll?
Yes,
Wow,
sir,
look at
it
that.
does. You can
You
even
get
click
night.
on them
So if you go to
and scroll through them.
the quality of the photo is, most of the night cameras that I use, it's usually just a blur.
Right. So here's where you would tag your deer.
Okay.
So here you just type it in.
So let's go back and look at deers that you've tracked. So this is
This is basket case.
basket case, and there's,
Basket case.
oh, because his antlers wrap up
Don't
around
laugh
it.
at our Louisiana deer.
No, but that's a great name for him.
So this is basket case. And so you see here,
Yep.
he was tagged down here.
And based on just seeing the images, he's active at night.
Correct. So what happens is that notification will come on your cell phone. And so it says deer are present at this camera. You can tap that
And you can watch him.
notification and you can tag him in it.
So now let's talk about activity. If I'm going to go hunting,
So you would come over here to the activity chart.
okay.
So this is what we base off the predictions.
Okay.
This is what Predictive is the bread and butter of it.
Okay.
So
So
you-
this is all cameras, and this is the data of photographs of deer across all cameras, which tells me weather basis temperature. So right around 40 degrees. Wind is out of the southeast, and look at when it's at the west, there's very little activity. 3 miles an hour, 3 to 6. If you start getting faster than 6 miles an hour, so on a windy day, there's no
They're
reason
not.
to go out.
No, absolutely not. And then here we have the camera activity. So if you want to say, okay, what's the best
where do I go?
chance?
Where do I
what's
go?
the best chance? So here you would go to southeast corner clearing.
Okay.
So from here I can say, okay, well, why? So you scroll up to the top, go to camera, click that camera, and it's going to tell you why.
Okay.
So if we go to best time on all cameras, all tags, will be the best time for you
So
to see.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
And then it forecasts out the next 7 days and say, okay,
Okay, so look
Let's
at this.
see.
So it's telling me that if I've got some planning to do, Wednesday, June 1st, is the best day in the next 7 days to hunt the deer.
correct.
Fascinating. You guys have done a really good job on this. I
Well,
love
thank
the
you.
fact that the interface is so simple. Guys, thank you so much for coming out to the range and walking me through the cameras, the Predictive software, the whole system. It's fascinating what you guys have developed and how it works.
We
Thanks a lot.
appreciate you having us out today.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks, Megan.
you.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Once again, it's time for Tech Tips with Gary Melton, former Army Ranger, sniper team leader, and one of America's top firearms instructors.
Hey folks, Gary here with Paramount Tactical Solutions. So one of the questions I get asked most frequently is, what is the best sight or optic for an AR-15 or other general purpose rifle? And the good news is there's more options than ever before. Everything from red dot sights to holographic sights to a multitude of different magnified optics that are available today on the market. And the reality is that all of those have advantages and disadvantages. You know, the red dot sights as well as the holographic sights, those work real well for close-up work, that target acquisition at those close quarter distances. Where they have a disadvantage is when we start adding distance. You know, 200-300 yards away, sometimes that dot is larger than the target itself. And being that it's not magnified, it's hard to get precise aim. The other challenge with those is if you have astigmatism or other eyesight issues, a lot of times that fine dot will actually starburst and look much larger. But when it comes to the magnified optics, those don't work that well close up, but they do have a lot of advantage when we start adding distance away from the target. But until recently, we didn't really have a hybrid until we got in the low power variable optics, or LPVOs. And this is such an example, this Trijicon Credo 1:8. And typically you can find these LPVOs in magnifications from 1:4, usually 1:6, 1:8, and 1:10. I think 1:6 and 1:8 is probably the sweet spot for that. They also come in two different reticle types, second focal plane and first focal plane. And if you decide that you're going to go with one of these, I highly recommend getting a first focal plane reticle, because that first focal plane reticle, without getting too deep in the weeds, essentially allows the reticle to change with the magnification. So as you can see here, we have a target that is 5 yards away with the magnification set to 1 power, or essentially no magnification. And you can see that the reticle works very much like a red dot and or a holographic sight. So it allows for very quick target acquisition at those close quarter distances. And here you can see the exact same target and the exact same optic, but now we're at 100 yards. But as we dial in all the way up to 8 power, you can see this allows for very precise engagements out to 500 yards and beyond. So if you're looking for one optic that'll pretty much do it all and do it pretty darn well, or you have some eyesight issues that make it a challenge to use some of those other sights, I highly recommend you going to check out some of the first focal plane, low power variable optics. You might just find the perfect sight for you. And that's your tactical tip of the day.
If you'd like to learn more about the products and people you've seen, scan the QR code on your screen. You'll go to the Agents of Change website. You'll also have the opportunity to share information with us. We're always looking for new innovative people and products.